Do not buy Wesker. Or do buy him, your choice, but there's two very important things you need to know before you decide. Number one, he's broken and buggy as hell right now, to the extent that it's partially unethical that he was even released in the condition he's in. Like every match I've played, I've run into something, whether it was bouncing off of survivors, phasing straight through survivors, or literally grabbing survivors and then putting them down nicely without injuring them at all, even though they still do need to wash the salt off of themselves afterwards. Also, his emblems are bugged, so it's very difficult to pip while playing as him and nearly impossible to get his adept achievement. The second thing you need to know is that they big time nerfed his ass from the PTB. They reduced the hitbox size of his bound attack by 50%, even though it feels closer to 90% when combined with any latency. Imagine Death Slinger accuracy. If you pair that with the bugs and the fact that his ability wasn't in any way overpowered to begin with, especially when compared to other similar killers, you get the most frustrating pile of wasted potential I've ever seen in DBD. Seriously, after the PTB, I was actually really excited to play Wesker. I even made a video about it, so I was beyond disappointed with what we got in the launch version. You may have already seen that in my Rage compilation. Before we go any farther though, I do want to say that in despite of all of my criticism, he's still insanely fun to play even in his current condition if you can manage to overlook all of the BS. Moving on, if you manage to hit a survivor with his bound attack and happen to not throw them into anything, they take no damage at all, which would be okay, but it proves to me that Behavior believed that this ability was supposed to be somewhat easy to land. Another clear example of the devs not really understanding how this game works at high level play. Not counting the bugs, the hitbox alone makes Wesker's bound attack get completely countered by small objects. Nurse can blink through an entire building, Wesker gets defeated by basically a stop sign. So against most teams, Wesker has to tunnel in order to win in most situations, which definitely sucks. If you manage to play against grass touchers like I did here in the B-roll footage though, you're good to go. I should probably also mention that the new RPD rework, specifically the West Wing variant, is the most one-sided spicy diarrhea I've seen since, well, the last time Behavior released a map. Honestly, let's just take what we can get at this point. Clearly, they are very awful at map design from a balance standpoint, like really bad. So every attempt to balance a map is just going to be a worse botch job than the last, so let's just accept the fact that the maps in DBD invalidate like 70% of the killer roster from existing. You can call it a skill issue if you want, but then don't complain when you're playing against an anti-loop or anti-solid object killer every other match. That said, we did recently get an update about Wesker's hitbox, and it's going to be seeing a slight increase, which is very necessary considering it's smaller than his actual body, and I believe even smaller than a hatchet hitbox from Huntress. Now, I had a lot of fun playing against Wesker as Survivor in the PTB. I hope Behavior keeps him substantially viable enough that he stays in rotation. In his current state, he'll probably be dropped faster than Nerfed Freddy was. I can't even get a really good idea of what his strength level is because he's just so wildly inconsistent and broken with his grabs. I do apologize if this video comes across as negative, but my intention is just to be honest. Map design is a lost cause at this point, but Wesker can still be awesome, possibly even the most fun killer in the entire game with a pretty simple update, and I'm very optimistic we're gonna get that. Big Sag though, I definitely don't recommend buying him right now. He's just too much of a mess, but at the same time, I'm playing him non-stop, so do what you will with that information. For Resident Evil fans though, I'd highly recommend playing either Nemesis or even Hunk over Wesker. That said, if you are having fun playing him, I totally understand as I'm also addicted to DBD. If you haven't seen it already, go and check out the Rage compilation and make sure to send me your Wesker Rage clips as well. And as always, thanks for watching and have a good one.